But I want to start tonight with some of the very strange behavior we are seeing from the president. Look, we all know that Donald Trump has always been far, far from a normal guy. That's one way of describing it. I mean, his behavior is often erratic. His public statements can be completely bizarre. And at times he doesn't seem to know what is going on inside his own government. But recently it seems like he is, well, not at all okay, I guess is one way to describe it. Let me show you what I mean. Yesterday, Trump attended an AI summit in Pittsburgh. And within 10 minutes of taking the microphone, he launched into an utterly strange digression about his uncle and the notorious domestic terrorist of all people, Ted Kaczynski, better known as the Unabomber.
My uncle was at MIT, one of the great professors, 51 years, whatever. He was the longest-serving professor in the history of MIT. Kaczynski was one of his students. Do you know who Kaczynski was? There's very little difference between a madman and a genius. But Kaczynski, I said, what kind of a student was he, Uncle John, Dr. John Trump? He said, what kind of a student? And he said, seriously good. He said he'd go around correcting everybody, but it didn't work out too well for him.
I love the look on the face of the guy next to him. You can sort of see in that video. But again, to sum that up, Trump says his uncle taught the Unabomber at MIT, and apparently the question of all the possible questions Trump asked him was what kind of a student Kaczynski was. And then he felt the need to share the detail that the Unabomber was a good student to some perplexed people. And yes, that's a pretty weird, pretty creepy thing for the president of the United States, or really anyone to say at an event that was supposed to be about artificial intelligence. But it gets weirder because the Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski, never attended MIT. And while Trump did have an uncle who worked at MIT, his uncle died in 1985, which is a full 11 years before the Unabomber was publicly identified and apprehended. So I guess either Donald Trump is confessing to having known the identity of the Unabomber more than a decade before he was caught. There could be that, I suppose. Or something is seriously off with Donald Trump. And that's not a one-off. That is hardly the only incident. I mean, today reporters in the Oval Office asked Donald Trump about new reporting that he has floated the idea of firing Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell. And this is how he responded.
He's a terrible Fed chair. I was surprised he was appointed.
He's a terrible Fed chair. I was surprised he was appointed. Were you? Were you really surprised he was appointed? The person who nominated him for that job was you, Donald Trump. It was you. Trump picked Jerome Powell to run the Fed during his first term. There they are, right there, being announced. He does not seem to remember basic facts about his own life. He does not seem to remember things that happened as recently as his first term. This is a guy who once boasted he had the best memory of all time. His words, certainly not mine. But now those apparent memory lapses are bleeding into the self-inflicted scandal that has rocked his administration and ignited a full-on MAGA revolt. I'm, of course, talking about what has come to be known as the Epstein files. Just a few hours ago, Trump went on a friendly right-wing network in an attempt to quell the outcry, again, to try to quell it again, and deflect the blame. And here's what he said.
In the case of Epstein, they've already looked at it, and they are looking at it, and I think all they have to do is put out anything credible. But, you know, that was run by the Biden administration for 4 years. I can imagine what they put into files.
That was run by the Biden administration for 4 years. Once again, for whatever reason, because the guy's a little off right now, it seems, Trump's memory seems to have failed him. Maybe he needs to Google who was president 6 years ago, because Trump was president when Jeffrey Epstein was arrested on sex trafficking charges. Trump was also president when Jeffrey Epstein was found dead in his jail cell. And Trump was president when Epstein's criminal case was officially closed. All that took place in 2019. More than a year before Joe Biden even became president. Trump seems completely lost on all of this. But his most ardent supporters are definitely not. I mean, they've spent the last 5 years steeped in every single detail of this case. And as the calls to release the Epstein files intensify, Trump is finding himself increasingly at odds with his own base with every day that passes. Now he's lashing out at his own supporters. I mean, this morning, Trump posted an absolutely bananas screed that you really have to read to believe it. I mean, first he called it the whole Epstein matter a scam and a hoax. Then he attacked his own voters who believed he would deliver on his promise, because they'd been told that he would, to actually release the Epstein files, saying, quote, "My past supporters have bought into this BS hook, line, and sinker. Guess who fed the BS? Others of your supporters." Then he went after his voters even more, essentially calling them stupid. "They haven't learned their lesson and probably never will," he said, accusing them of being conned by the lunatic left. Finally, he called his supporters weaklings and declared, quote, "I don't want their support anymore." All kinds of reminds you of a child pounding his fist because he wasn't invited to a birthday party, doesn't it? Or something like that. A child who has access to Truth Social or a social media site, I suppose. But the point is, this is all so unhinged, even for Trump, that some of his most vocal supporters initially refused to believe Trump had actually posted that himself. Guess they thought another person could perfectly replicate the all caps, grammatically incorrect flow of Trump's posts? Who knows? That's what they thought, though. They questioned it. But any doubts they had went out the window when Trump repeated his outrage screed on camera in the Oval Office.
It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats, and some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net, and so they try and do the Democrats' work. They want to talk about the Epstein hoax, and the sad part is it's people that are really doing the Democrats' work. They're stupid people.
They're stupid people. I mean, please. That's what he's calling his own supporters. It's always a dead giveaway, by the way, that you're coming a bit unwound when you start attacking the very people who ignored all of your other many flaws and still cast their votes for you. And just to give you a sense of how expansive the group is that Trump is calling stupid here, today Politico obtained internal Democratic polling that shows that 61% of Trump voters believe that law enforcement is withholding information about powerful people connected to Epstein. And public polling finds the exact same thing. I mean, a CNN poll found that only 4% of Republicans say they are satisfied with the information released about Epstein to date. And a Quinnipiac poll out today finds that 36% of Republicans disapprove of Trump's handling of the Epstein case. The YouGov poll also finds this was out yesterday, finds that 50% of Republicans think the government is covering up evidence about the Epstein case. Those are all the people Trump is calling stupid. He's effectively writing off somewhere between a third and half of his own voters. It's not even just rank and file supporters. They are important, too. Not just them he's calling stupid people. I mean, the list of people who have promoted the Epstein conspiracy include Trump's FBI director, Trump's deputy FBI director, Trump's vice president, his own adult son, just among a few. And they all had good reason to believe that releasing more information was exactly the plan. I mean, remember in February, Trump invited a group of his loudest online supporters to come to the White House for what he called the release of phase 1 of the Epstein files. He gave them all binders of documents, which turned out to just be full of documents that had already been made public, but he made a whole show of it. They all had the expectation that there was going to be a lot more coming. But then when a lot more did not come, some of his most loyal right-wing allies started turning on him. And that has only grown. I mean, just in the past 24 hours, InfoWars conspiracy theorist Alex Jones said Trump's threats to excommunicate his followers sounds like a thoroughbred cult. That's what he said. Trump's former national security advisor, Michael Flynn, posted a very long screed, you can see on the screen, on X, defending the MAGA fixation with Epstein. Joe Rogan is openly mocking the Trump administration's handling of all of this. All of this is in addition to previous criticism from other big Trump world figures like Tucker Carlson and Steve Bannon and Laura Loomer. The people with huge megaphones in Trump's base are very, very mad. And this issue doesn't seem like it's going away anytime soon. In fact, we are still getting some new developments every single day. I mean, Trump keeps talking about it, so there's that. But Wired magazine also reported today that there appears to be 3 minutes of footage edited out of the Epstein security tapes that have already been released. NBC News reported that the family of Epstein co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell is appealing to Trump for help with her ongoing case. And amid all of that, Democrats are keeping the pressure level set too high. Just yesterday, Democrats forced a vote on an amendment to compel the Justice Department to release more information on Epstein. And that vote was blocked, of course, by Republicans. Not of course. I mean, these are some of the people from the same party where they're calling for more to be released. So they blocked it. They had the chance to, and they blocked it. So the party that spent years hyping the Epstein files is now on the record blocking their release, just to kind of sum that one up. For probably the first time, Republican lawmakers are caught between Trump and the MAGA movement he created. And for now, most of them are still following Trump's lead, even though he seems completely lost. But MAGA clearly expects more. Some of the people with the biggest megaphones are demanding more. And Democrats aren't standing down either.